is consistent. No, not at all. Okay. Hi, I'm Chrissy, and today I'm going to tell you all about my pregnancy experience so far. As you know, I am 7 months pregnant. I am counting down the last 8 weeks now, give or take, depending on when little baby shows up. And yeah, so I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what it's been like. I have titled this video The Good, the Bad and the Ugly for a reason. I mean, it's been a whirlwind of a few months, so there's been a lot of everything, basically. As a bit of a side note, I have been backing and forthing on whether or not to do this video for ages. There's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, it's because I know it's going to be a long one, and number 2 is because I keep telling myself no one cares. But with regard to that, I know how many of these types of videos I have watched before and especially during my pregnancy, so that's one. And also I just need to stop. You know what I said in my last video? Chiseling down and not caring so much? That's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm pushing myself, I'm doing it. If you enjoy it, that's absolutely fantastic. If you watch it, thank you. If you do enjoy it, or if you know anyone who might be, you know, who's pregnant or who might enjoy it as well, please share it with them. It will help me, it will help them, and we'll just be one whole happy family. So lame. But anyway, I thought long and hard about how to organize the information in this video, because originally I thought maybe I'll go trimester by trimester, but I think that it makes more sense to kind of go symptom by symptom, so that's what I'm going to do. I have dreamt about having a baby, getting pregnant, giving birth and all these things from a very, very young age, since I was practically a baby myself. And so I knew a lot about pregnancy and birth and babies from before, and still there were a lot of things that surprised me, which I found really interesting. So I thought that I would share this with you. I thought I'd share what my pregnancy has been like. No 2 pregnancies are the same, and no 2 women are the same either. So my experience could be completely different. Billie, stop it. My experience could be completely different from anyone else's, and this video is purely my experience that I am sharing with you. Yeah. To give a bit of a disclaimer, I just kind of want to say that pregnancy is the single most amazing and miraculous and just insane thing when you think about everything that a woman's body goes through to literally make a human being. It's just bonkers. And in spite of all that, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It's not all daffodils and rainbows, and in my case it definitely hasn't been. It's been quite a difficult pregnancy for the most part. It hasn't been the worst, but it hasn't been plain sailing, and I just want to kind of put a note out there that it's okay to say that and to accept that it's not all beautiful, because even though the result and what it actually is in itself is incredible and the most amazing thing, the pregnancy itself can be very, very difficult, and it's okay to just kind of accept that, you know. So yes, just before I dive right in, I want to start on a positive note and say that I have been blessed, thank God, with a healthy pregnancy. Aside from obviously all the ups and downs, which I'm going to tell you about very soon, medically it has been practically perfect. My baby is very healthy, I have been very healthy, and it's a real blessing, and I'm just so lucky to be able to experience that, and you know, to not have had any complications or issues along the way. So that's a positive note, and on that, let's get right into it. So you can't talk about pregnancy symptoms without starting with the most obvious or basic one, the one that people know most about, and that is morning sickness. And what I say to morning sickness is that whoever called it morning sickness should die, okay? It is not just morning sickness. I know many women who agree with this. In my case, it was morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night sickness. It was just constant. I didn't throw up. By the way, slight disclaimer, there will be some disgusting information in this video probably, so proceed with caution. I didn't throw up, but I was really, really nauseous throughout the entire first trimester. Thankfully, it kind of faded moving into the second trimester, but it was miserable. I was constantly feeling like I need to throw up. I was retching and my stomach was doing the contracting thing that happens when you need to throw up, and nothing would come out. It was not fun. It was disgusting. I could be driving and it would happen. I'd be at work, I'd be at home in the middle of the night, whenever, it would just keep happening. And it would be triggered by certain smells, by talking and singing, just because I would get stuff moving in there, and it was disgusting, to say the least. Thankfully, that didn't last very long in my case. Let's talk about cravings. I, surprisingly, didn't really have any cravings. The only thing that I think, like, got emotional about in terms of food was ham. And this has been consistent. I have cried at least 3 or 4 times over a ham sandwich. Like, I just really want some ham. I really want a ham sandwich. Chris and I have already planned our first date, and I know that the first thing that I'm going to do after giving birth is I'm going to have a ham sandwich, because I just really want a ham sandwich. It's not like I crave it all the time, but that was the only thing I think that that I really got upset over. Sense of smell did change. Certain foods and certain smells would kind of be really off-putting, things that I liked before, but it wasn't anything significant. At the beginning, I did note that I like chocolates, I don't really like sweets. And during the beginning of the pregnancy, I was just like, I wanted gummy bears and things like those. I don't know how to explain them, but sweets, not chocolates, you know, and I really wanted a lot of those. But it was never the case, like I'd wake up 3 in the morning and be like, oh my God, I'm gonna die if I don't have a pickle or anything like that. I didn't have any of those, thankfully. One thing that I did, that I have, and especially I think recently I've fallen in love with them even more, is ice. I just really enjoy. I need cold water, and if it's cold water with ice, even better. I'm just really enjoying just eating ice than having cold water. Hi, sweetheart. And apart from that, I'm just very, very thirsty all the time, which doesn't help the peeing at night situation, but I just need to drink so much. I'm drinking about 3 liters a day. Speaking of food and stuff, the digestive system just takes a whole new, I don't even know. It's been very strange. In the articles and like the app and everything that I follow, they say constipation is very common throughout pregnancy, and honestly, I have never been to the toilet as frequently as I have during this pregnancy in my life. So it's been the complete opposite for me. And aside from that, during the second trimester specifically, the gas. Oh my God, it was like embarrassingly bad. I won't go into detail, but it was very significant. And then moving a little bit further up, the esophagus, acid reflux. I have dealt with acid reflux and heartburn for years. And at the beginning, it got quite bad, the heartburn, and I thought, okay, it's gonna be like this. I was not anticipating how much worse it was going to get. At the moment, throughout the third trimester, it has escalated so much that no amount of antacids, no amount of snacking regularly, eating early, sleeping reclined, and all of this, nothing helps anymore. And it's not just heartburn, it's not just acid, it is living with vomit in my mouth. It's really disgusting, I know, I'm sorry about that, but it's just so bad, and it gives me a sore throat. I end up hoarse sometimes because it's just constantly eating at my throat. It's not even my esophagus anymore, it's my throat, and it's really, really uncomfortable. So that got very, very bad. And then moving downwards again, I mentioned that I drink a lot. Bladder control, okay? I have been doing Kegel exercises ever since I found out what they were years ago. So I always thought that I'd be like, okay, with the whole peeing uncontrollably situation. I haven't had any bad accidents, but there were a couple of slips, which they really took me by surprise. It's embarrassing, guys. Your body does things that you're not prepared for when you're pregnant, so... And it's okay, we should talk about these things, right? Hi, I'm Chrissy and I pee myself. I don't, it just, like, it was a drop, you know? But still, it was shocking. When we talk about hormone changes, which obviously are expected, there's so much to say. I'm really trying to be organized here, but I know I'm going all over the place. But there have been a couple of incidents which I found quite interesting. I haven't been overly emotional, but there were a few instances where I would just, like, the slightest inconvenience would make me cry. But then on the opposite side, and this I found absolutely bizarre, I never knew that this could happen, hysterical laughing fits. And I mean hysterical laughing fits. This happened mostly within the first and second trimester. It's been a while. I would laugh so much at something really stupid or something really small. Like, it didn't even have to be that funny, but there were some occasions where I would just burst into laughter and I would be crying, and there was one time I even threw up because I laughed so hard. Like proper hysteria, and I found that very strange. Apparently it's common. I never knew that was a thing. So I found that one quite cute. And it's good to be happy, I suppose. Okay, now let's move into something that's also very obvious. Physical changes during the pregnancy. And this is... again, something that I expected, but not to the extent that I had. So before I was ever pregnant, I always bloated a lot, and so I used to just pop my tummy out to its full bloat potential and, you know, just kind of hold my tummy and be like, oh, this is what I'd look like when I'm pregnant. I was so wrong. Everything else changed. I expected that my tummy would grow, obviously. I expected to gain a bit of weight. And I expected that maybe my hips would get a bit wider, but there were so many other things that took me by surprise. And I'm talking things like cellulite depositing in places that I never had cellulite. I used to have a bit on my bum and on my legs, but it has increased so significantly, and I have cellulite in my arms and in my back now. It's just storing everywhere. It's a healthy thing, it's okay, it's good. But it took me a while to be like, okay, this is what's happening now. Other changes, things change shape and color, guys. I mean, it takes a while to adjust. Some things really did take me by surprise. Skin changes, good and bad. So my acne disappeared, which is amazing, like, great. Please stay like this. And I didn't get a lot of pigmentation, but then, for example, my tummy gets really red sometimes, and that's normal apparently with the expanding. Itchiness, my tummy was itchy, but another thing I really wasn't expecting, my armpits, during the second trimester especially, they were so itchy. I felt like a monkey, honestly, and I checked with the gynae and she said it's got something to do with the milk ducts and that production and everything kind of getting ready to start producing milk. But that, I found that really bizarre. Like, why are my armpits so itchy? And then, like, with my skin as well, the oil reduced, even in my hair. There's just a lot of changes, and with these changes I just want to emphasize that the body is doing what it needs to do to make a baby and to keep this baby healthy. Having said that, it can be quite a shock to look at yourself and accept that you look like this. And in my case, now I feel much more confident and comfortable and beautiful in my own way, but there were many weeks where I could barely look at myself in the mirror without crying, and it's part of the process, you know, and it's okay. It doesn't make you any less grateful, it doesn't make it any less beautiful. It's just, you know, you're used to looking a certain way, and then all of a sudden everything is changing and everything looks different and nothing fits you and nothing feels right, and all of a sudden people are passing comments about what you look like and how big or small you are, and it's just so much to take on, aside from all the hormonal changes and everything. So that was just a quick side note. Another symptom that I expected, and that started towards the end of the second trimester moving into the third, are cramps. I get very bad cramps in my legs. Now they even started in my hands. My hand tends to just kind of get stuck in this position. It's very painful. I am taking a banana for potassium every day, and I take magnesium supplements now, and they've really helped, but they are mega painful. And another thing that is expected in pregnancy, but again in my case it was quite shocking how badly it affected me, was back pain. Now back pain is to a certain extent obvious in a pregnancy. You are gaining weight, your tummy is getting bigger, your center of gravity is off, your posture is changing to be able to hold this big tummy and baby, in front of you. But in my case, the back pain was not just back pain, it was severe. Between weeks 19 and 22, I was at my absolute worst. I was utterly miserable because I was in so much pain. And I've got a very high threshold. And also, I was, for a few days at least, practically paralyzed. I had to get Chris to maneuver me around. I couldn't get off the sofa. I couldn't turn myself over in bed. I couldn't go to the toilet. Like, I was in so much pain. I could not lift my legs because I had some inflammation in the SI joint, which is somewhere in the pelvic area. And it was just really painful. And that was not fun. Thankfully, with the help of physiotherapy, massage, and maternity swimming classes, which unfortunately I've had to stop since because of COVID, those kept me going, but otherwise I would just have been so miserable if the pain didn't get any better. Other aches and pains, obviously the expected Braxton Hicks, those have just started recently for me. I've only had a couple. And lightning crotch, which is sudden pain in the crotch area, and it's so funny because 1 second you're about to die and then the next it's absolutely gone and you're fine. A lot of weird things happen in the body. It's amazing because essentially your body is preparing to get a big baby out of a really tiny hole, so all the things that are going on are just incredible when you think about it, but it's weird, and it's a funny little thing, pregnancy, I suppose. Another thing that I didn't really expect was the insomnia. This kicked in recently in the third trimester for sure. I wake up quite a few times every night to pee, but nowadays when I wake up I cannot go back to sleep, which is a massive pain because I'm exhausted. I'm really tired and I don't get to sleep so much. I spend a good 2 hours awake and then I sleep again at like 5 in the morning or something, and then obviously I'm exhausted throughout the day. That was something that I really didn't expect. I didn't really know that it happens, but apparently it's quite common, especially in the third trimester, so if you didn't know that, now you do. And a couple more symptoms that I've had. Another one that was really severe consistently throughout the pregnancy, and it still hasn't completely gone, are headaches, and like migraine type of headaches, really bad. They started very early on. I noticed that they used to get much worse when I'd be in the office, so working from home has been a massive help because they have been much more bearable. But when they kick in, they get really intense. Thankfully, Panadols have been helping, but they have been very significant and very uncomfortable. Part of the headaches thing, I think, as well, is congestion. I have been so congested from the very beginning of the pregnancy. It's like I've constantly had a bit of a cold, which is great during COVID time, by the way. But a lot of congestion, and bizarrely, I never knew this was a thing as well, nosebleeds, and not like streaming nosebleeds, but there is constantly blood in my nasal passages. I constantly need to clear my nose, and sometimes there's like proper blood clots as well. They don't help the headache situation, and they just make things very uncomfortable in the face area. And obviously, I would say that another symptom that is another very obvious one is feeling tired and just the fatigue, the general fatigue that you feel. This was actually the first symptom that I got in my pregnancy. I had originally thought that something might be wrong because I was so tired and I had lost all my stamina. It was not nice, and that has been quite consistent. At the beginning of the pregnancy, I was exhausted. Actually, no, not just at the beginning, throughout. I have been so tired. It's normal. Your body is doing so much that, like, I can't even comprehend. I don't even know what it's doing half the time. So it's very normal to be very tired. And I'm actually very thankful that, all things considered, I feel okay and I have enough energy to keep working and to do this now, you know, to prepare everything for the baby. I'm in the nursery, if you haven't noticed, and we're slowly getting things together and putting everything together and getting everything ready, so that's very exciting. And I think symptom-wise, that was pretty much everything. If I had to just mention one more thing, which I think was quite important to mention, was sensitivity to supplements. I have a lot of sensitivities and allergies as well, especially when it comes to medication and anything like that. So this could really not be the case for everyone. Again, I'm talking from my experience. But a lot of the things that are recommended for pregnancy did not work for me. For example, the folic acid at the beginning, I started taking it straight away. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I went to the pharmacy and got folic acid and started taking. But the supplements that I was taking were just, my body didn't like them, and they were making the nausea much, much worse than it was without them. So because I needed the folic acid, I know how important it is, then I found a different supplement, which was actually a probiotic that had folic acid in it, and that worked wonders for me. And recently, in the 3rd trimester, I got my blood work done, and I have an iron deficiency. And the nurses recommended that I start a multivitamin, which I had already been told from before that I would need one. I started a multivitamin, and God, it was just not right for me. I ended up, with very bad diarrhea, very bad pain, a lot of discomfort, and it just wasn't worth taking them, because I didn't need a multivitamin, I needed iron. And so I had a good chat with my gynae, and we found a different one. This stuff can be expensive because, yes, you need to buy and try. And then if it doesn't work, you need to buy something else. It's annoying, but it is so important to, first of all, know what your body is doing. Secondly, listen to what your body is telling you. Thirdly, speak to professionals that you trust and who trust you. You need to, find a gynae especially that you can build a good relationship, and they're not going to make you take things that you feel are not actually beneficial to you. That's just a very important note which I thought I'd put out there. I've since started an iron supplement which is working great for me, and I feel much better and I feel more energized as well. So that's going very well. On that note, that's pretty much been, I think, my pregnancy in a very big nutshell. Not much of a summary there, but I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of things. And like I said, this has been my experience, so I'm sure that many people would have a different experience, but I thought that I would share this all with you. And I don't know if you've enjoyed it. If you're still here, thank you. My goodness, this is a long video. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for finding me interesting enough to watch. And if you are, please subscribe to my channel and send this video to anyone who you think might find it interesting as well. Like I said, pregnancy is a beautiful thing. It is an absolute miracle, and I am eternally grateful for everything that my body is doing. And I'm so excited to meet our son very soon. I'm really excited, and I'm very grateful to be going through this, because I know that there are many women who struggle to get pregnant. So to you, I wish you the best of luck, and I really hope that happens for you soon. To anyone who is pregnant, let me know what symptoms you have and what you've found strange, or if there's anything that you've had similar to me that you maybe didn't expect. And yeah, I think that's just about it. And Billie agrees. Stop it. This is a very long video. This is probably going to be a pain in the butt to edit, but I really wanted to share this with you, and there is never going to be a more valid time for me to do a video like this than now. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in my next video. Until next time, bye! He's very restless, aren't you? Because he's not comfortable, because he's not on mine. Right? I haven't even started yet and I'm already out of breath. My goodness, Billie, are you done complaining? I think that could work. Give me kisses. Thank you, good boy. I love him. It's very hard to find a comfortable position.